Hey, Abby. Great job. Love the presentation. Really super harmonious. Use of the grid is just spectacular. Okay, I've got a few comments. I've got some notes right here, and these are what I'm going to be talking about. Table of contents leaders, rags, variants of short to long lines, hyphens, widows, delineate your final logo, and then in exclamation point, fantastic use of grid. Let me go through these. Okay, so I'll just go through these, and I'll leave these in your grading notes because I would expect there to be just some minor deductions based on these. I'll explain this all in a second, but nothing major at all. I mean, this is really fantastic work, and I'm just gonna have just a couple of comments on the cover here. I think the cover should be presented in full dynamic range in terms of presenting the image itself. And the reason being is because you are introducing the world, so to speak, to Kyoto as a possible location for the Winter Olympics. Now, as such, I think this muted image is kind of sending the wrong picture. I think it would be more appropriate to recompose your type and use the full dynamic range of the image in order to introduce this dynamic and unique location to the world. A couple of problematic areas in this cover. This is one right here, the girl wearing the mask, and that just kind of, we all, in the West, we've all seen the images of in Asian countries and people wearing masks based on the pollution, and I think that might be sending the wrong signal. The other is this one right here. This girl right here is yawning. So again, that might be sending the wrong signal. Okay, let me back off that just a little bit. Okay, let's start looking at your spread. Your spreads look fantastic, just wonderful. Use of your grid is spectacular. Over here, we've got you've got this wonderful setup for your leaders, and as they go into your page numbers. However, we see that the leaders themselves, there's no space between where the leaders end and the page numbers begin. So you can see the little leaders behind each of these. You can see it really specifically clear right here on page 37. There's the last leader, and then the page number starts here. And you can see it also over here and some of the beginning. Right here, the leader starts before or right over the P. I don't know why it does that. Okay, so there's some spacing here, right here. There's no space, and then over here, there's this nice, beautiful space between the end of the type and the beginning of the leaders themselves. Okay. Other than that, page looks great. Great image. This is really interesting. I think the page mechanics here is gorgeous. Really breaking the grid in a wonderfully appropriate way. I shouldn't say breaking the grid. I should say breaking the page margins in a wonderfully appropriate way. Over here, I would say things like this. Turn your hyphens off because each page, this is not by any means considered to be a long passage of text, and each page only has, there's no continuing page text from page to page. So you're not threading your text at all. So each text block is only a paragraph or two long. So we should definitely turn off hyphens there. It would create it would eliminate some unusual spacing. I'll show you that in a second. Some unusual presentation of words. Two spaces right there after that period. Don't want that. And let me see. This page right here, I think this is called clotheslining, what you've done, the way you've assembled your type. And this basically means that you've got the same top line, but your baselines are varying. So ergo, clotheslining, as opposed to what's called skyscraping, which means your baselines are in alignment and then you have varying heights of the text blocks. Over here, what I would do is I would bring a couple more lines down here, take a couple, 3 lines from here, bring them down here. So just kind of reassemble that, because then you won't have this big variation, this big space here, big variation between your 2 columns of type. This looks great. I mean, it shows the area, definitely. Yeah, good job. This is a gorgeous page. Just wonderful. Again, here, average. It's just an unusual presentation. I think you eliminate that by turning off your hyphens, forcing the first part of the word to the next line, which means you'd have to adjust your type, as it falls. When you turn your hyphens off, you may have to do some adjustments, but nonetheless, I think hyphens are, in this particular scenario, are somewhat unattractive. Okay, see right here, EES. Where are we? EES right there. It's just so unusual to see that at the beginning of a sentence. Another wonderful page, really good use of bleeds, wonderful use of grid, nice typographic color. It's very open, like the pages. I think the one wonderful thing is the type mimics the openness of the pages because of the typographic color itself, using a nice, generous amount of leading and kerning. So good job there. That's a widow right there. I think I had another widow somewhere. A widow is a word that falls at the end of the paragraph alone. I did see another one right there. Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want orphans either. That's a line that would be at the top of the paragraph, then the next paragraph alone. Good job. Looking great. Looking great. Fantastic. Okay, now as you're introducing your logos, I would delineate this as final logo. So Geisha final logo, because right now up until you start seeing, you don't get to page 28 until you realize that this is the final logo. So I would definitely say, mention that this Geisha is the final logo. Good setup of your patterns and your fifth element. Then we start jumping into phase 3, design development and placement, and these are fantastic. Poster looks really good. I would, I think that these pages are really inviting. There's another widow right there. Now you mentioned large pictorial graphics, but you're only showing one. I wonder if it would be nice to have another poster. These look great. Good placement shot. Very, very believable. Wonderful job there. Love this. Love the way that the creases and the graphics adhere to the creases of the bag. So this is really great execution. Likewise. One thing I would have liked, I'd like to see a little bit more work on the, I think it would have been more effective to see further work towards the end of the presentation here. I think it would have held the viewer's interest for a few more pages had we had 1 or 2 more pages of placement shots, specifically environmental graphics where you have your oversized graphics placed on, venues, buildings, inside of the arenas, in the actual events, like the ski slopes and the ice rink, on the sideboards of the ice rink, or even the logo in the middle of the ice rink. Things like that. I think this is one area where we're falling a little bit short here in terms of phase 3. Okay, good conclusion. Great job on your sources. All right. Other than that, I think you're just wonderful. So these table of content leaders, regs, variants of long and short lines, hyphens, widows, delineation of final logo, and then, of course, fantastic use of grid. So those would be what I would be looking for in terms of relating your presentation to the objectives of the final rubric. All right, great job. Any questions at all, please? Oh, one more final comment. Your page numbers are really super close to the bottom of the page right there. So I would say move those up a little bit. And I think one other interesting thing to do would maybe change the color of the page numbers to match the color of the headlines. I think that would create a nice harmony between your informational elements within the page. All right, fantastic job. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.